I may leave soon because of an illness, but I love my husband and I don't want him to be lonely when it happens. Hi everyone. I don't really know why I'm posting this. Maybe it's because it's 2 a.m. and the house is so quiet that I can hear my own heartbeat. Maybe because I can't sleep and there's too much in my chest for one person to hold. I don't want sympathy. I just need to write this somewhere that isn't my journal. I have been sick for a while. It's one of those conditions that start slow and then never really goes away. You go through treatment, you fight, you hope, and then one day the doctor sits you down, looks at your chart, and starts talking about quality of life and comfort. That's when it sinks in that your time might be limited. I've known for about 6 months now that things may not last as long as I hope. It's not immediate, but it's not far away either. I'm stable enough to live normally for now, to cook dinner, to go on walks, to laugh with my husband, but we both know things could change. My husband, Mark, is the kindest man I've ever known. We met 10 years ago at a friend's barbecue. He made a terrible pun about grilled chicken, and I laughed so hard I choked on lemonade. That's how we started talking. He drove me home that night because it started to rain, and he didn't want me to walk in wet shoes. He still does little things like that, refills my tea before I ask, plugs in my phone before bed, leaves sticky notes on the fridge that say today's going to be a good day. He makes everything feel lighter, even this. When the diagnosis came, he cried harder than I did. He's not the kind of man who cries easily, but that day, he just held me and whispered, "We'll fight this." And we did. We really did. Chemo, radiation, endless hospital stays. He was there every single time, holding my hand, bringing me socks, sleeping on those awful plastic chairs next to my bed. When my hair started falling out, I shaved it off before it could hurt to watch it go. He kissed my head and told me I looked like a superhero. I remember thinking, how could I ever deserve this kind of love? The treatments worked for a while, and I started to believe maybe things would be okay. We went on a trip to the coast last year, just to celebrate feeling normal again. He took photos of me laughing in the sand, with my hat flying off in the wind. But the spring, it came back, stronger. And this time, the doctor said there's not much more they can really do. I asked for honesty. They said we should focus on making time count. I went numb after that, but he didn't. He started researching every trial, every clinic, every diet that might help. I told him to stop, not because I don't appreciate it, but because I want to live, not spend the rest of my time chasing a miracle that isn't coming. He still looks things up in secret. I see the tabs on his laptop. He thinks I don't notice. Lately, my body gets tired easily. I nap in the afternoons. I forget things sometimes. He acts like it's nothing, like I just need more rest, but I can see it in his eyes. He knows. He's already grieving me, even though I'm still here. And that's why I'm writing this. Because the thing that breaks my heart the most isn't leaving. It's knowing that he's going to be alone when I'm gone. He doesn't have much family, just an older brother who lives across the country and a few old friends he barely talks to. I was his world, and he was mine. And now I feel like I'm about to leave him stranded in a life we built together. I've started doing small things to make it easier for him when it happens. It sounds morbid, but it helps me feel useful. I made a folder on his desktop with all our account passwords and bills labeled clearly. I've written letters, one for his birthday, one for Christmas, one for the anniversary we won't get to have. I told him things like, buy yourself new shoes and take the trip to Alaska you always talked about. I told him to fall in love again someday. That part took me days to write, because I want him to. But the thought of it also hurts more than I can describe. He's told me, flat out, that he'll never move on. He says, you're my person. That's it. And as sweet as it sounds, I don't want that for him. I don't want him to live in an empty house, surrounded by photos of me. He deserves warmth and laughter and companionship. He deserves to wake up next to someone who makes him coffee and teases him for leaving his socks everywhere. But I don't know how to tell him that without breaking him more. I tried bringing it up once. I said, promise me you'll still find happiness after I'm gone. He looked at me like I'd betrayed him. He said, don't talk like that. You're not going anywhere. And that was the end of the conversation. So now I just keep it to myself. I smile. We cook dinner. We watch TV. We live. But every night, when he's asleep beside me, I look at him and wonder if he'll ever forgive me for leaving. It's not my fault, I know, but it feels like it. I've started recording voice notes for him. Little things like remember to water the plant on the windowsill or your lasagna always burns at 40 minutes. Take it out at 35. Some are more serious. Like, you don't have to be strong all the time. It's okay to cry. I don't know if he'll listen to them. Maybe he won't be able to. But maybe one day, when the sadness softens, he'll hear my voice and smile instead of cry. That's all I want, for him to smile again. I've come to peace with leaving, I think. It's strange, when you first hear that your time is limited, everything feels terrifying. But then, after a while, you start noticing beauty in tiny things again. The way sunlight comes through the curtains, the smell of toast in the morning, the sound of someone laughing in another room. It's like your brain slows down and says, this is what you get, make it count. I've stopped worrying about the big things. I just want the days to be soft. Last week, I asked Mark if we could go back to that same beach we visited after my first treatment. He hesitated, but he said yes. We went yesterday. It was cold and windy, but I didn't care. We sat on a blanket and watched the water. He held my hand the whole time. I told him I loved him. He said, "You're my whole world." And I smiled, but inside, I thought, I hope one day you find another world, too. Because I can't stay to be his. If you're reading this and you have someone you love, please, hold them tighter tonight. Say the words. Make the memories. Take the pictures. Don't wait. You think you have time. Until you don't. I don't know how many more days I have, but I know this one was good. And for now, that's enough.